Okay, if you were tuned into baseball yesterday, it really felt like you weren't just watching a day of games. It was, I don't know, like an entire season just crammed into one incredibly intense period.
No, absolutely. Everything just kind of happened at once.
Yeah, and the whole playoff picture just got completely violently shaken up.
That is the perfect way to put it. I mean, looking through all the results, it's just so clear that going into this final week, momentum isn't just, a
It's
factor.
everything.
It really is. It's the only thing that seems to matter right now. We saw some teams finally lock things down, secure their spot, and then others look like they just fell off a cliff.
So our mission today is to unpack exactly that for you. We're going to look beyond just the box scores, really dig into the stats, but also the psychological side of it all.
Right, the impact of these upsets, these
Oh, yeah.
collapses.
Yeah.
They're defining this final push.
Exactly. So let's dive right in. We really have to start with the National League wild card because that race is just pure tension right now.
It is. And the big story yesterday, it's that classic dynamic, right? The hunter versus the hunted.
And the Cincinnati Reds. They were absolutely the hunter.
No question. They finished off that huge 4-game sweep of the Cubs.
And that last win? Wow. It felt like a psychological sledgehammer to Chicago, didn't it? Clinched by a bullpen shutout.
It wasn't just the pitching, though, was it? It was the whole team's energy. You could just see them fighting for every single pitch. That hunger was obvious.
Radiating off them.
Yeah.
And that hunger paid off immediately.
Instantly. That win, plus the Mets losing their game. Suddenly the Reds are right there, tied for the final wild card spot. A huge swing in just one day, well, across those 4 games.
Okay, let's pause on that and look at the other side. The Cubs collapse. There's this idea floating around that, well, maybe they were kind of locked into their playoff seeds, so they just...
Checked out, mentally done.
Yeah. Do we buy that, or is this something, deeper, a real problem?
Well, I think it's way more than just an excuse. It's a massive red flag heading into October. There's some analysis, some deep stats that back this up.
Oh, yeah?
The Cubs' hard hit rate, how hard they're actually hitting the ball, reportedly dropped something like 15% during that sweep.
15%? Wow.
Yeah, that's enormous. That's not just like bad luck or being sloppy. It suggests their whole approach at the plate was fundamentally off.
So their physical output dropped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which tells me the team, maybe culturally, wasn't really dialed in to maintain that intensity, maybe because the immediate stakes felt lower for their seeding.
So management maybe didn't keep that urgency up.
Could be. And they paid a heavy price against a Reds team that was, fighting for its playoff life. That's a huge worry for the Cubs now.
Definitely a worry. And meanwhile, the Mets are feeling that heat from the Reds even more after taking that really tough 3-2 loss to the Nationals.
Oof, yeah, a real gut punch for them. Seriously damaged their
I
hopes.
gotta give credit to the Nats, though.
Oh, absolutely. Played spoiler perfectly, made some big plays late. You could tell they were enjoying messing things up for a rival.
So while Chicago may be checked out, the rest of the NL wildcard contenders seemed to be catching fire. That momentum just felt contagious.
Totally. Look at the Marlins. Swept a road doubleheader against the Rangers. Won 3-1 and 4-2.
That's tough to do, 2 games, 1 day on the road.
Right. That kind of focus, winning both like that builds some serious confidence, especially away from home.
And the Diamondbacks, their offense looks scorching hot.
Yeah, they beat the Phillies 4-3, then just exploded for a 9-2 win in the next one.
Putting up 9 runs against Philly, that sends a message.
It really does. If you're hitting like Arizona is right now,
Yeah.
you are dangerous.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to face that kind of lineup.
Even the Giants, they showed some real fight, right? Splitting with the Dodgers?
Yeah, they got crushed 17-5 in one game, which happens against LA, but then they bounced right back the next day to win 3-1.
Showed some resilience, refused to just roll over.
Exactly. That whole NL wildcard picture is just defined by this late season surge, this determination from multiple teams.
Okay, well, let's switch gears to the American League. And we should start with some good news, a moment of just pure relief for fans up north.
Yeah, the Blue Jays finally did it. They locked up their postseason spot. An 8-5 win over the Royals.
That must have felt huge for them after the season they've had, that turnaround.
You could feel the pressure just release.
Yeah.
Saw reports that the celebration in the clubhouse was apparently so loud, so intense.
It set off a fire alarm, briefly.
Is what they said. I mean,
Yeah,
that tells you everything, right? The emotional weight they were carrying to finally seal that deal.
Huh. I guess so. Either that or they started some early clubhouse redecorating.
Maybe both.
Yeah.
But The AL East race itself still super tight, especially after that big Yankees-Orioles game.
Right, huge stakes there. Yankees won at 7-1, but in extras. And it all came down to Ben Rice, that massive grand slam in the 10th.
A huge moment. Keeps the pressure on Toronto for the division title. But there's sort of a mixed take on this win for the Yankees, isn't there?
Yeah, explain that. I mean, winning ugly is still winning, right?
Yeah.
Especially in extras. If they've got that power threat, does it matter if the starter wasn't lights out?
Well, that's the crux of it. Yes, a win is a win. But you have to ask, what is this particular win maybe covering up?
Okay.
The starter wasn't sharp. They were in extras, partly because they didn't get consistent offense through the first 9 innings. So needing one huge heroic swing, a grand slam to bail you out,
Yeah.
that's fundamentally different from having that steady championship rhythm.
So you're saying the grand slam, while clutch, might be masking some cracks, like in the overall offensive approach or maybe even pitching depth?
That's exactly it. Championship rhythm, that's about grinding out wins, maybe 3-2, 4-1, putting pressure on constantly, limiting mistakes, needing that huge 4-run explosion late just to beat a good team. It suggests there might be some underlying reliability issues.
Issues that October baseball tends to expose.
Absolutely. The high-stakes environment just magnifies those things.
Okay, speaking of reliability issues, let's talk AL Central chaos. Because the Detroit Tigers look like they're just in free fall while the Guardians are doing the opposite.
Yeah, the Tigers look totally gassed. They lost again 6-2 to the Braves, and Atlanta's won, what, 8 straight now?
And for Detroit, that was their 9th loss in their last 10 games. Just brutal.
And their division lead over Cleveland is down to just 1 game.
1 game, setting up an unbelievably tense final series between them. What's going wrong for the Tigers? Where's the breakdown?
Well, the analysis seems to point straight at the bullpen. They just look completely exhausted mentally and physically.
Just hitting the wall at the worst possible time.
Seems like it. When you're in a tight race all season long, sometimes that stamina just runs out. They're making mistakes now that you didn't see them make a month ago.
And while the Tigers are crumbling, the Cleveland Guardians look terrifying, even though their big win streak technically ended.
Right, their 10-game streak did end. They lost the second game of a doubleheader to the Twins, 6-2. But you got to look at the context.
What's the context?
In the first game of that doubleheader, they absolutely crushed the Twins, 8-0. So, yeah, they lost the second game, but the message was already sent loud and clear. The Guardians are deep, they're legit.
And their formula for winning, it's kind of fascinating compared to, say, the Yankees relying on that big homer.
It really is. Their whole approach, limiting walks, playing super sharp defense, low variance baseball, it just feels tailor-made for October.
Not flashy, but effective.
Exactly. It's a kind of style built for winning those tense, tight playoff series where every single run feels precious. They minimize the chances for those self-inflicted wounds.
Definitely sounds like a team nobody wants to draw in a short series. Okay, now, we need to talk about what one analyst called the single most strategically important win of the entire day.
Ah, yes, the AL West.
The Seattle Mariners beating the Houston Astros 6-4. Why was this one so crucial beyond just the win itself?
This was massive. And here's the key strategic point. Winning that specific game didn't just help their record right now. It clinched the season series against Houston.
Ah, the tiebreaker.
The tiebreaker. Exactly. Let's break down why that's just enormous in this situation.
Okay.
Securing that tiebreaker effectively gives Seattle an extra game cushion over the Astros, the team that has basically owned that division for years. It completely shifts the strategic calculus.
Wait, run that by me again. An extra game cushion? How does the tiebreaker do that?
Because if they finish the season with the exact same record, Seattle wins the division. Houston doesn't.
Ah, okay. Got it.
So Houston now has to finish with a better record. They have to win out and hope Seattle stumbles somewhere. Seattle, on the other hand, knows they have that safety net. They could potentially afford one slip-up that Houston absolutely cannot.
Wow.
Winning that specific head-to-head game under pressure to secure that advantage, that's a huge psychological boost, too. It puts the Mariners firmly in the driver's seat for the division title.
That really highlights the difference between just a win and a truly strategic, high-leverage win.
That's fascinating, and we saw other teams finding ways to grind out wins, too, which is also key this late.
We did, like the Padres, right? Just grinding out 2 tight wins against the White Sox, 7-3 and 3-2.
Not necessarily pretty, but getting it done.
Exactly. Finding ways to win even when maybe the offense isn't firing on all cylinders. That's a vital skill for October baseball.
And even teams technically out of it are still playing hard, playing for pride.
Yeah, look at the Pirates. They split their doubleheader with the A's, but they had that huge 11-0 blowout win in one of them. They're not just rolling over.
Which you contrast with, say, the Angels. So much talent on that roster.
But they dropped 2 games to the Rockies, 3-0 and 3-1. Just goes to show you can't coast. Talent alone isn't enough if the focus isn't there, especially now. Nobody's giving away games.
And finally, one last bit of drama. The Brewers had a really rough day.
Oof, yeah. Lost both games of their doubleheader to the Cardinals. St. Louis took the second one 5-1. That suddenly injects a jolt of confidence into the Cardinals, doesn't it? And puts some unexpected pressure back on Milwaukee in the NL Central race.
Absolutely does. The Brewers did not want that heading into the final stretch. It just reinforces that whole theme again. Momentum is so fragile, easy to lose, incredibly hard to get back.
Wow. Okay, so just stepping back. The sheer volume of results yesterday and the massive strategic implications everywhere you look, from the Reds clawing into that tie to the Mariners grabbing that critical tiebreaker.
It's staggering.
Yeah. And the main lesson really seems to be about focus, right? Relentless determination won the day. Teams that were maybe coasting or relying on past success, they struggled badly.
We definitely saw teams playing with real fire surge ahead, while others that maybe got complacent just crumbled. That sharp mental edge, that determination, it seemed to override pedigree yesterday.
So as you, our listener, are processing all of this, these huge wins, the collapses, the momentum swings, here's maybe the central question, the conflict that really emerged from everything that happened yesterday. We saw the Cubs, already playoff bound, look mentally tired, checked out. We saw the Tigers seemingly collapsing under the pressure. So heading into October, what actually matters more? Is it that established talent, the track record, the past success, or is it that fierce right now determination, that scrappiness we saw from teams like the Reds or the Mariners who are playing like their lives depend on it?
That tension, talent versus temperament, pedigree versus present hunger, that is absolutely going to define these next few weeks. And honestly, the answer to that question, that's probably going to determine who ends up holding the trophy.
We are definitely going to find out soon enough. Join us next time for the next deep dive.